Did you know that 3 out of 4 people are not qualified to join the military? Have you been told that you do not qualify? What can you do to become qualified? There is a possibility that I can help you. I'm going to talk to you today about the biggest reasons that people are not qualified and what you can do to possibly fix that for yourself. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Team Willbob. I'm Staff Sergeant Robert Williams, a recruiter for the Washington Army National Guard. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you can get my future videos. And if you like the video, please give it a like so that the algorithm will show it to more people. If you are told that you do not qualify for military service, that means you're not qualified today. There is a decent chance that you could do something to make yourself actually qualified. And I can help you do that. The most common reasons that people are not qualified for military service are they can't pass the ASVAB, they don't meet the education standards, they're overweight, they have medical issues, or they have legal issues. There are 2 broad ways that you can get around this. The first one is find a way to meet the standards. The second one, get a waiver. Now let's go through each reason and I'll give you ways that you can possibly meet those standards or get a waiver. The first one, not being able to pass the ASVAB. To join the Army, you must get a 31 or higher on the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. There are several ways that you can improve your scores so that you can pass. First one, we can study with you. Or you can study on your own and we can give you study materials that will help you. Another great idea is to take private tutoring. Or similarly, you can take classes at your local community college. There are 2 ways that you can get a waiver for this requirement. The first is that we just have a small percentage of people who are allowed to join if you have from a 16 to a 30. As long as you can qualify for a specific job with what we have called line scores that come from all the different sections of the test. You must otherwise be fully qualified medically and in all other ways to be able to join. The second is what's called the FLRI program. And this is where English is not your first language. For this one, you must get from a 21 to a 30 on the ASVAB, and then you will also take an English language proficiency test, which you must pass, but you can't do too well on because if you do quite well, you don't really need us to teach you better English. With this program, you would actually enlist, then we would send you to a training site where you go through an entire class for up to 6 months while you are getting paid full-time military wages so that you can learn and get a higher score in the ASVAB. This one's a little bit more restrictive because it is only offered from October through March. Now, if you join on April 1st, there's a decent chance you will be able to still get in. But we have to make sure that you have time to finish the course and come back before the end of the fiscal year, which ends on the 30th of September every year. The next reason that people do not qualify for military service is you don't meet the educational standards. Well, this one generically means you have the equivalent of a high school diploma. But the equivalent of a high school diploma is a very broad thing. You have to have obviously a high school diploma, or you can have a GED, you can have any sort of college degree, you can even have just a certain number of college credits, being 15 semester credits or 22 quarter credits, but they must be at college level 100 or higher to count. There are certain clock hour programs for trade schools, and there are several other ways that you can qualify, but you got to sit down with your recruiter to figure that out. How can I help with this? If you're currently still in high school, I can sit down with you and your counselor to help you come up with a plan to be on track to graduate high school. I can put you in contact with a GED program. I can also put you in contact with a lot of community colleges where as long as you can start those, you can do enough credits to be able to qualify. I can help get you into a high school completion program through those same community colleges. And remember that those college courses, you can go to a regular brick and mortar school, or there are also a lot of online options. For the education requirement, there is no waiver to get around that. You must meet this requirement somehow, and you can absolutely do it. The next very common reason that people do not qualify for military service is they are overweight. And the first thing we do for this is see if you qualify for the BMI range, because we have a maximum weight, we also have a maximum body mass index, and those do not always coincide. For example, I can be 30 pounds or more over the maximum weight, but still meet my BMI requirement for my height. It just depends on how you carry that weight and in what kind of shape you really are in. Because if you work out a lot, you might weigh more than that standard. I've met plenty of bodybuilders who cannot pass the standard for the weight, but they have a crazy good BMI. To help you qualify for this standard, we can work with you and set up a diet and exercise plan. You can come to work and exercise with us when we are doing our own PT, or some of us have PT programs for people just like this. You can exercise on your own, and we will give you direction on what to do and how you need to do it. And we will be doing either way, weight checks every other week or every month, depending on how far you have to go to meet the standard. And of course, we will be there to inspire you, because this job is amazing and it's going to help your life. And I want you to remember that so that you are motivated to continue. Because to be perfectly honest, sometimes working out isn't everybody's favorite thing, and that's okay. But I want you to succeed. This one does have a waiver possibility. There are certain jobs that are more physically demanding than others, so you're allowed to have a 2% higher BMI as long as you meet a couple other requirements. Now, medical issues are a very big reason that people are unable to qualify. The first thing we will do with this is give you an honest assessment if it's going to be possible for you to qualify. The biggest thing to understand is that we want you to succeed. If you are physically incapable of succeeding in our profession, you will be unable to join. We want you to do your best and ensure that you're not putting yourself in extra danger in a normal military situation because of this medical issue. And we also want to, and we must ensure that you will not be putting your teammates in additional danger because of accommodating you. The way we will do this is, first of all, see if your condition was so long ago that it's not actually disqualifying. Because some things like asthma are really big, but if it was when you were 3 and you haven't used an inhaler ever, you're fine. Certain conditions like that, if they're below a certain age, they're not disqualifying. But we might just have to gather some medical and pharmacy records to prove that you're no longer dealing with that condition. Lastly, for many medical issues, we can ask for a waiver. I have gotten a lot of people medical waivers for their ability to enlist. Sometimes I'm asked why waivers are even allowed. Why not have just one set standard and that's the absolute line? Well, this is because medical issues aren't all cut and dried. At a certain point, they have to look at you as an individual to see if you will be able to succeed. And especially when you have multiple medical issues, that becomes more complicated, and they want to really do their due diligence to see if we can bring you in. Because, as I said before, we really do want you to succeed. The last big thing that I'm going to talk about is legal history. We have a very high standard for being allowed to serve the public. We are the most trusted profession in America. And we must maintain that trust that the public has given us. Certain offenses are absolutely going to be always a no. And the vast majority of people are not going to be sympathetic for you if you're unable to join because of them. And I'm pretty sure you can come up with at least a few of these just by really thinking about it. When you have more than one criminal charge, we have to do research to see if the combination of those will allow you to actually be qualified. Such as 3 DUIs, you will never be allowed in. What we're looking for is if you have a pattern of behavior or if you just made some mistakes, but you've bettered yourself. An important thing to note here is that we ask for everything, and yes, we are allowed to ask. Do not hold anything back. Your juvenile record, your expunged record, your sealed record, we're the government. We have to be able to see those things. Again, public trust, we got to make sure you really meet the standard so we can get it all. Now, certain things we really don't care about. Speeding tickets, if you got a couple of those, that's fine. We just have to document them, and that's also part of an honesty test for you. But if you don't remember a speeding ticket from 15 years ago, and you suddenly remember it later on, you're gonna be okay. What we're really looking for is like criminal activity. And every state has slightly different definitions of criminal activity. So like jumping a turnstile in one place doesn't really mean anything. In some other states, it's actually considered a criminal charge. Also, if you have charges that were dismissed, they might still count. It depends on, was it with or without prejudice? How long ago was it? Is the statute of limitations passed? And we also have what's called a suitability review. We have the authority to say no if you qualify by our little matrix on criminal convictions, but you have a pattern of behavior that is not in the interest of service. When we run your police record check, hopefully you're not surprised by what's on there, because if you had 14 charges over a dozen different interactions with the police over the course of several months, they didn't stack the charges, and you saying yikes is kind of weird. So, yes, there are plenty of waivers for this one. And to get a waiver, you need to show that you will add to our organization, not detract from us. Ways to show that you will add are community service, furthering your education after that event occurred, holding down a good job, take responsibility for your actions, get letters of recommendation from like your employer, other people you know, if you're religious, your clergy. Generally, just be doing things that you should do to improve your life anyway. You will write a written statement explaining the event, acknowledging it, and admitting your mistake, and then showing how you've grown as a person since then to show that you're not that person anymore. You must convince your recruiter that you really are worth the effort. Yes, we are required to work with you, but no, we do not have to do any of the work for you. The process is a lot of paperwork, so do us a favor and show that you are committed. Show up to the appointments. Do the paperwork we give you. Show up to appointments. Answer your phone. Bring us other people who can join with you. This can actually be part of your statement, showing how you literally add to the organization, and helping us shows that you will be a good soldier. And again, show up to appointments. Sometimes I harp on certain things in these videos and when I'm interviewing people, and there's a reason. If you don't show up, you're obviously not committed. So why should we go the extra mile if you're not willing to go the first mile? All right, now that you have some more information, do you think that you would be able to make yourself able to join the military? ASVAB, education, and weight are things that you can always work harder to overcome and get yourself to qualify. If any of these, or even all of these, are your barrier, you just need to put in that hard work and effort to get it done, and you will qualify. One thing to remember, especially for these, is that it can take a while. And that can be a good thing, because if you need to, say, lose 50 pounds, but you also got to go to college for 6 months, you can do those at the same time. And at the end, you'll qualify for both. Medical and legal issues are the ones that might be a permanent no, but you can always ask for a waiver. And remember, many things literally just need time and you're suddenly eligible again. Or that waiver can be sometimes really quick. I've gotten medical waivers while the kid was sitting at MEPS that took 18 minutes. The worst we can say is no. Well, other than, have you met this police officer? Please do not come to our office with active warrants. So the fact of the matter is, many people will never be qualified, either because it is a permanent thing or they just don't put in the effort. Another fact is that a good amount of people who join the National Guard get waivers. Just about half of my enlistments had waivers of one form or another, and about half of those were medical waivers. If you're willing to do the effort, I am too. I love being able to help people improve their life. That's why I do this job. Thank you for watching Team Willbob and learning how you can go from disqualified to qualified for military service. Please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can get those future videos. If you have any questions, you can put them down in the comment section. You can give me a call. You can send me a text, or you can send me a Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram message. Have a great day.